Good morning, students. Welcome back to session 11 of Hilbert spaces. In the last class, we have proved that if P and Q are projections on a Hilbert space H with range spaces M and N respectively, then PQ is 0 and QP is 0 if and only if M is orthogonal to N. Okay, PQ is 0 means they are okay. So now we have proved the product P into Q is 0 and Q into P is 0 if and only if M is orthogonal to N. Where we have assumed M is orthogonal to N, we have shown PQ is 0. In the beginning itself we have shown that PQ is 0 if and only if QP is 0. Okay. Continuation of these results. Say let us take another result. Say suppose we have projections P and Q on a Hilbert space H. Then these projections are said to be orthogonal projections. Then these projections are said to be orthogonal projections, or P and Q are said to be orthogonal if the product P into Q is 0. So two projections P and Q of a Hilbert space are said to be orthogonal if P into Q is 0. According to previous theorem, if PQ is 0, then what will happen? QP is also 0 means P is orthogonal to Q means Q is orthogonal to P, and as well as they are orthogonal to each other means their respective the spaces ranges M and N must be orthogonal. M and N must be orthogonal. So that is, we say by using the above theorem we can say that P and Q are orthogonal if and only if their ranges M and N are orthogonal. So generalizing this result, let us say we have if P1, P2, etc. Pn are projections on a closed linear subspaces M1, M2, etc. Mn of Hilbert space H, then this sum P1 plus P2, etc. Pn, which we call it by P, is a projection if and only if Pi's are pairwise orthogonal. That means Pi dot Pj is 0 whenever I is not equal to j. In this case, P is a projection on the sum M, which is M1 plus M2 etc. Mn. Okay, understand this? So if P1, P2 etc. Pn are projections on closed linear subspaces M1, M2 etc. Mn of a Hilbert space H, then that sum P is equal to P1 plus P2 etc. Pn is a projection if and only if Pi's are pairwise orthogonal. That is Pi dot Bj is 0 whenever I is not equal to j, and also P is a projection on M. Okay. Now let us come to the proof. Since P1, P2 etc. Pn are projections on a Hilbert space H, we have by definition of a projection Pi square is Pi, that is each Pi is idempotent, and Pi star is equal to Pi. Pi star is equal to Pi means each Pi are self-adjoint for each I is equal to 1 to etc. N. Now let us take P be the sum of these projections P1 plus P2 etc. Pn. Now P star is P1 plus P2 etc. Pn star. So that is equal to P1 star plus P2 star etc. Pn star. But P1 star is same as P1, P2 star is same as P2 etc. Pn. So that is nothing but P, means P star is equal to P. Okay. Now first let us assume that Pi's are pairwise orthogonal. Suppose that Pi's are pairwise orthogonal, that means Pi dot Pj is 0 for I is not equal to j. Then what will happen? We have P square. P square is what? P into P, that can be written as P1 plus P2 etc. Pn into P1, P2 etc. Pn. Now if we multiply this, P1 into P1, P1 square, P1 into P2 is 0, P1 into P3 is 0 etc. P1 into Pn is 0. Likewise, P2 into P1 is 0, P2 into P2 is P2 square, I written as it is. Likewise, Pn plus Pn square is equal to 0. All other terms gets cancelled because Pi's are pairwise orthogonal. So now this is equal to P1 plus P2 etc. up to Pn, which is nothing but P, means P square is equal to P. Already we have shown that P star is P. Therefore, we can say that P is a projection on H. P is a projection on H. We have assumed that PIs are pairwise orthogonal and we have shown that P is a projection. Conversely, suppose that P is a projection on H. So that P square is P and P star is also P. Now, if T is any projection on H, okay, and Z is any vector in H, then what will happen? Inner product of T of Z comma Z is, so T of Z comma Z can be written as, since T is a projection, T square is T, so this is T square of Z comma Z. This can be written as T into T of Z comma Z, so this is equal to T of Z. You transform this to T onto the right, it becomes T star of Z. So this is equal to T of Z. T star of Z is T of Z itself. So this is norm of T of Z whole square. You call by this number 1 means inner product of T of Z comma Z is norm of T of Z whole square. You call by this number 1. Now let X belongs to range of some Pi. Now if X belongs to range of some Pi means by definition what will happen? Pi of X is X itself. X belongs to range of Pi means Pi of X is itself. Pi of X is X itself. This implies Pi of X under norm whole square is norm of X whole square. Therefore, norm of X square is equal to norm of Pi of X whole square. This is certainly less than or equal to sum of these. So each of these norm of X1 is less than or equal to norm of X1 plus norm of X2 and so on likewise. So this is less than or equal to summation j is equal to 1 to n norm of Pj of X whole square. So this is equal to j is equal to 1 to n. Norm of Pj of X by 1, we can write it as inner product of Pj of X comma X. So this can be expanded as inner product of P1 of X comma X plus inner product of P2 of X comma X and so on inner product of Pn of X comma X. So this is equal to, so since P is linear, so this can be as P1 plus P2 etc. Pn of X comma X. So P1, P2 etc. Pn is nothing but P. So P of X comma X. P of X comma X is again by 1 norm of P of X square. Norm of P of X square is certainly less than or equal to norm of X square because norm of P of X is less than or equal to norm of X. Okay, norm of P of X is less than or equal to norm of X square. We call this by number 2. So now from this we conclude that, so norm of X square is equal to norm of Pi of X square, that is less than or equal to norm of X square itself, means from this we conclude that the sign of equality must holds throughout the above computation. Means, so whenever we have less than or equal to, there it must be equal to. So therefore we have norm of Pi of X whole square is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to n norm of Pj of X whole square. Because for example, if A is less than or equal to C and throughout C is less than or equal to A means what? You can say that norm of A is equal to norm of C likewise. Okay. So we have norm of Pi of X whole square is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to n norm of Pj of X whole square. So this implies norm of Pj of X whole square is, see here, Pi of X whole square is equal to sum of this means what will happen? So norm of Pj of X whole square must be 0 if j is not equal to I, because here look here, this is equal to what? Norm of P1 of X square plus norm of P2 of X square and so on norm of P of X square plus and so on norm of Pn of X square. So that is equal to norm of Pi of X square means all other terms must be 0, means norm of Pj of X square must be equal to 0 if I is not equal to j. This implies norm of Pj of X must be equal to 0 if j is not equal to I. This implies norm of Pj of X is equal to 0 if j is not equal to I. This implies what? This implies X belongs to where? Null space of Pj of Pj. Null space of Pj if j is not equal to I. This means, what is null space of Pj? Range spaces are Mj means null spaces are Mj complement. So this implies X belongs to Mj complement if j is not equal to I. If j is not equal to I. This implies X belongs to Mj complement means X is orthogonal to Mj. X is orthogonal to Mj for every Pj with j is not equal to I. Thus, every vector in the range of pi, every vector in the range of pi is orthogonal to the range of pj with j is not equal to I. So because we have assumed that yes, x belongs to the range of some pi, and we have shown that x is orthogonal to range mj of every pj with j is not equal to I, means every vector in the range of pi, I is equal to 1 to n, is orthogonal to the range of every pj with j is not equal to I. Therefore, range of pi is orthogonal to the range of pj with j is not equal to I, means what will happen? By the above theorem, if range of m is orthogonal to n, if and only if pq is 0. Accordingly, so pi into pj is equal to 0 whenever I is not equal to j. Okay. So we have pi into pj means pi into pj are pairwise orthogonal. So we have assumed that p is a projection, and we have shown that pi's are pairwise orthogonal. Pi's are pairwise orthogonal. So what we have to finally, we need to show that p is a projection on m, which is m1 plus m2 and so on mn. Finally, we show that p is a projection on m, which is m1 plus m2 etc. mn. For this, okay, we show that range of p is nothing but m. Okay, R of p denotes the range of p. For this, we show that range of p is m. So for this, let x belongs to m. Now x belongs to m means m is the sum of m1 plus m2 etc. mn. Accordingly, x can be written as x1 plus x2 etc. xn, where each xi is an element of mi. Okay. Then we can observe from that norm of x square is norm of p of x square if x belongs to range of some pi. Okay, just now we have shown. So this implies xi belongs to, look here, therefore xi belongs to mi, the range of pi. xi belongs to mi, the range of pi. This implies what? Norm of p of xi square is equal to norm of xi square. Okay. Now therefore, look here, from 2, norm of x square equal to norm of p of x square if x belongs to range of some pi. Now xi belongs to mi implies what? Range of pi means norm of, according to this, norm of p of xi square is norm of xi square. This implies norm of p of xi is equal to norm of xi. This implies p of xi is equal to xi, because p of x is equal to x if and only if norm of p of x is equal to norm of x. Now p of xi is equal to xi implies what? Xi belongs to range of p. This means xi belongs to range of p for each I is equal to 1 to n. This implies each xi belongs to this, means their sum x1 plus x2 etc. xn also belongs to range of p. Why? Range of p is a subspace. Linear subspace means sum of any elements, sum of the elements of range of p are in the range of p itself. So now this is nothing but x1 plus x2 xn etc. xn belongs to range of p implies x belongs to range of p, because x is the sum of x1 plus x2 etc. xn. Thus what we have proved, x belongs to m implies, x belongs to range of p. Therefore m is contained in range of p. Conversely, suppose that x belongs to range of p. Then by definition what will happen? P of x is equal to x. P means p1 plus p2 etc. pn of x is equal to x. This implies p1 of x plus p2 of x etc. pn of x is equal to x. But now p1 of x belongs to where? It belongs to m1, because m1 is the range. P1 is the projection on m1, therefore p1 of x belongs to m1. Similarly, p2 of x belongs to m2 etc. pn of x belongs to mn. Therefore x belongs to where? X belongs to m1 plus m2 etc. mn. If x belongs to m1 plus etc. mn means, and so x belongs to m. Thus we have taken x belongs to R of p, range of p, and we have shown that that is belongs to M means range of P is a subset of M. Okay, so we have shown M is contained in R of P and R of P is contained in M. Therefore, R of P is equal to M means range of P is M. Range of P is M means what? P is a projection on M. Okay, means P, that's got P1 plus P2 etc. Pn is a projection on M, which is M1, M2, M1 plus M2 etc. Mn. Okay. Next, let us take up the other result. So this theorem says if P and Q are projections on closed linear subspaces M and N of a Hilbert space H, then P into Q is a projection if and only if PQ is equal to QP, means P and Q commutes. In this case, PQ is a projection on M intersection N. Okay, if P and Q are projections on closed linear subspaces M and N of a Hilbert space H, then PQ is a projection if and only if PQ is equal to QP. In this case, PQ is a projection on M intersection N. Now, P and Q are projections means by definition what will happen? P star is P, Q star is Q, and P square is P, Q square is Q, means P and Q are idempotent and as well as self-adjoint. Now also P and Q are projections on M and N means, so range of P is M, range of Q is N. Now first suppose that PQ is a projection on the Hilbert space H. Now PQ is a projection means what will happen? PQ whole square is PQ and PQ whole star is PQ. Now PQ whole star can be written as PQ, that's equal to Q star into P star is equal to PQ, implies QP is equal to PQ, because Q star is Q, P star is P. Therefore PQ is equal to QP, means we have assumed that PQ is a projection and we have shown that PQ is same as QP. Conversely, suppose that PQ is equal to QP. Now we have PQ whole star is what? Q star into P star, but Q star is Q, P star is P, so QP, but QP is according to this our assumption QP is PQ, therefore PQ star is PQ, and PQ whole square is PQ into PQ, so P into Q into PQ can be written as Q into P, right? So this is equal to P into Q square P, but Q square is Q, P, Q, P. Again, look here, PQ is QP, QP can be written as PQ, so P square into Q, so PQ, means PQ whole square is PQ. So PQ whole star is PQ as well as PQ square is PQ, means what you can say? PQ is a projection on H. But we need to show PQ is a projection on M intersection N, means PQ is a projection on M intersection N means what? The range of PQ is M intersection N. That we are going to show it now. Say, look here. So now let R of PQ denotes the range of PQ. So that we will show it as M intersection N. First let us take X belongs to M intersection N. Now X belongs to M intersection N implies what? X belongs to M and X belongs to N. Now X belongs to N. We have PQ of X is P of Q of X. P of Q of X, if X belongs to N, Q of X is what? X itself, because X belongs to range, which is the range. Yes, range of Q is what? N. So Q of X is equal to X itself. That means P of X. Again P of X is X itself, because X belongs to range of P, which is M. Okay. Thus PQ of X is equal to X. Now PQ of X is equal to X means what? X belongs to range of PQ. So we have taken X belongs to M intersection N and we have shown that X belongs to range of PQ. Therefore M intersection N is contained in range of PQ. Next suppose X belongs to range of PQ. Next suppose X belongs to range of range of PQ. Then PQ of X is X. Now PQ of X is X implies what? You apply P on both sides, you get P of pq of x is equal to p of x. So this implies p square of q of x is equal to p of x. So this implies p square is pq of x is equal to p of x. Now pq of x is x belongs to s range of means, so pq of x is x itself. So this is equal to p of x. P of x is equal to x means what? We say x belongs to M, which is the range of p. Also look here, pq is equal to qp implies what? X belongs to S. X belongs to, we have assumed that x belongs to range of pq. We have assumed that x belongs to range of pq. So that's why we have taken pq of x is x. Now x belongs to range of pq means x belongs to range of qp, because pq is same as qp. Now x belongs to range of qp implies what? Qp of x is equal to x. This implies qp of x is equal to q of x. So again this implies that q square p of x is equal to q of x. Q square is q of p of x is equal to q of x. Again qp of x is x, because x belongs to range of pq means qp. So this is equal to x is equal to q of x means what? X belongs to range of q, which is n. Okay, thus x belongs to range of pq implies x belongs to m as well as x belongs to n, means x belongs to m intersection n. Therefore range of pq is contained in where? M intersection n. In the beginning we have shown that m intersection n is contained in range of pq. Now pq is contained in range of m intersection n, means range of pq is equal to m intersection n. Range of pq is m intersection n means what? PQ is a projection on M intersection N. Okay, or PQ is a projection on M intersection N. Now we show that the idempotent operator on a Hilbert space H is a projection if and only if it is normal. Means in the beginning itself we assume that it is P square is P, like if P is a projection, P square is P. So such operator is a projection, means it is self-adjoint if and only if it is normal. If and only if it is normal. Okay. So let us take this. Now P is idempotent implies what? P square is equal to P. First let us suppose that P is a projection on H. P is a projection on H means what? P star is P and P square is P. We have P into P star is what? P can be written as P star into P star. Now P star you keep as it is. P star can be written as P. Therefore P into P star is P star into P, means what? P is normal. P is a normal operator. So if the idempotent operator is a projection, if implies P is normal. Conversely, suppose that P is normal, so that P into P star is P star into P. Now let Y belongs to H. Then inner product of P of Y comma P of Y is what? Y comma P star of P of Y. This is called to inner product of Y comma P star into P can be written as P into P star of Y. Okay. So again you transform this P to left, it becomes P star, inner product of P star of Y comma P star of Y. Thus P of Y comma P of Y is equal to P star of Y comma P star of Y. Thus we can say that P of Y is equal to 0 if and only if P star of Y is 0. P of Y is 0 if and only if P star of Y is 0. Therefore means P of Y is 0 means what? Look here. Now let X belongs to H be arbitrary. If X belongs to H is arbitrary, then let Y is equal to X minus P of X. You taken the vector Y as X minus P of X. Then P of Y is what? P of X minus P of X. So this is equal to, since P is linear, we can write it as P of X minus P square of X. So this is equal to P of X minus P square of X is again P of X itself, that will be equal to 0, means P of Y is 0. If P of Y is 0, therefore 0 can be written as, therefore 0 is equal to P star of Y, because P of y is 0 if and only if P star of y is 0 according to this. Therefore 0 is equal to P star of y. That's equal to P star of y means x minus P of x. So this is again P star of x minus P star into P of x. This implies what? P star of x minus P star into P of x is equal to 0 implies what? P star of x is equal to P star of x is equal to P star into P of x for every x belongs to h. Understand now? So now P star of x is equal to P star into P of x for every x belongs to h implies you can declare that P star is same as P star into P. P star is same as P star into P. Now P is equal to P can be written as P star whole star. That's equal to P star can be written as P star into P whole star. So this is you apply here it becomes P star into P star whole star is P. Therefore P star into P. Again P star into P is P star. Therefore P is equal to P star. Already it is we have assumed in the hypothesis that P is idempotent operator means P square is equal to P. Therefore P is an operator such that P square is equal to P as well as P star into is equal to P. Therefore what you can declare? P is a projection on H means an idempotent operator on a Hilbert space H is a projection if and only if it is normal. It is normal operator. Okay. So these are the few results for this class. I'll continue in the next class. Thank you for listening.